Hello, everyone. Today I'm going to reveal a part of myself that I've buried deep. A story I never thought I'd share. It's a story of betrayal, temptation, and the harsh reality of facing one's mistakes. My name is Maya Roberts. I'm 32 years old, and I live in Seattle, Washington. I'm a wife, a professional, and, until recently, I thought I was someone who knew her limits. But life has a way of testing you, of luring you into shadows you didn't know existed until you find yourself trapped in them. This is my story, a tale of how a single decision almost tore apart everything I cherished. Ryan and I met during college. We were both young, filled with dreams and ambition, and our love felt like something out of a movie. He was a safe, dependable guy, the one you could rely on no matter what. When we married, I knew he was the man I wanted to build a life with. We shared laughter, dreams, and a vision of the future. We were partners in every sense of the word, and I trusted him completely. But as years passed, things shifted. Our once vibrant relationship turned into a comfortable, quiet routine. Ryan is an engineer, his job demanding long hours and frequent trips out of town. While he worked hard to secure our future, I managed our household and built my own career in event planning and corporate communications. Life felt secure, but I admit a bit empty. It was a steady rhythm, but one that lacked the spark I once craved. And that's when James Sullivan entered my life. He was older than me, confident, and mysterious in a way that intrigued me from the moment we met. As the new director in our department, he quickly established himself as someone people respected and feared a little. He didn't just pass by unnoticed, he commanded attention. His presence felt like an unspoken challenge. With his piercing gaze, he made you feel as though he saw straight through you, reading thoughts you didn't even know you had. One evening, after a long and exhausting meeting, he casually invited me for a drink. "Just this once," he said with a smile that seemed to know more than I did. I hesitated, thinking of Ryan and the life we'd built. But the temptation of feeling seen, noticed, even admired, was too strong to resist. I told myself it was harmless, that it was just a drink. I'd go have a quick chat and come home as if nothing had happened. That night, sitting across from James in a cozy, dimly lit bar, I felt a thrill I hadn't felt in years. He wasn't just listening to me. He was absorbing every word, his eyes locked onto mine in a way that made me feel seen in a way I hadn't felt in ages. I shared things about my life, my ambitions, and even the struggles that I normally kept to myself. His laughter, his charm, the way he leaned in ever so slightly, it was all intoxicating. When I came home, I felt a tinge of guilt, but I brushed it off. It was only a drink, I reminded myself. Besides, everyone had friends, right? Friends who listened, who understood. It was innocent enough, or so I thought. But that one drink led to another, and then another. Our harmless meetings became regular occurrences, each one drawing me closer to a line I had promised myself I'd never cross. We'd chat over coffee, exchange glances in the office, and soon, those glances became something more. I started looking forward to seeing him, anticipating the thrill of our next conversation. His words, his presence, had a way of erasing the monotony of my day-to-day life. Then, one day, as we were walking back from lunch, he casually took my hand. It was such a small gesture, yet it felt monumental. My heart raced, my pulse quickened, and I felt a mix of emotions, guilt, excitement, and fear. That touch, brief as it was, lingered with me all day, like a secret tattoo etched onto my skin. I knew I should stop, should pull away from whatever this was turning into. But something kept me going back, a desire I couldn't quite explain, even to myself. As the weeks passed, our connection grew deeper, more intense. He'd come by my desk just to smile or share a quiet joke. And then one evening after work, he leaned in close, his face inches from mine, and whispered, "Just this once." It was all the invitation I needed, and yet all the warning I should have heeded. That night, in a quiet, secluded hotel room, my life changed forever. I crossed a line that I had told myself I never would, a line that once crossed could never be undone. My mind was screaming, begging me to stop, to turn back. But my heart, my desires took over. The thrill, the rush, was unlike anything I'd ever felt before. In the aftermath, as I lay there in the stillness of the night, reality crashed down around me. I had betrayed Ryan, the man who had given me his love, his loyalty, his trust. Guilt clawed at my chest, and yet a part of me couldn't deny the exhilaration I felt. The thrill, the excitement, had momentarily numbed the shame. But it was only a matter of time before the weight of my choices became unbearable. Our affair continued in secret, each meeting a risk, each glance in the office a reminder of the forbidden. We were careful, always looking over our shoulders, aware of the consequences if anyone found out. I became a master at hiding things, lying with a smile, feigning innocence when my heart was tangled in a web of deceit. Ryan noticed changes in me. The late nights, the distant expressions, the moments when I'd be lost in thought, my mind replaying moments I couldn't share with him. One night, as I was preparing dinner, he asked if everything was okay. "You seem different," he said, his eyes filled with concern. His words struck a chord, and I felt my heart sink. I knew he sensed something was wrong, that he could feel the distance between us. But I couldn't bring myself to confess, couldn't shatter the illusion of the life we had built together. So I smiled, deflecting his question with reassurances and hoping he'd let it go. But as time went on, the weight of my secret became suffocating. The guilt was consuming me, eating away at my soul, and yet I felt trapped in a cycle I couldn't break. James had become an addiction, a craving I couldn't shake, even as I saw the toll it was taking on my life, my marriage, and my peace of mind. I knew I needed to end it, to walk away before I lost everything. Then came the night when everything unraveled. Ryan came home early from a business trip, catching me off guard. I had barely managed to compose myself when he walked into the room, his eyes filled with suspicion and hurt. He didn't need to say anything, he already knew. The truth was written all over my face, in the way I fumbled for words, in the guilt that clouded my gaze. "What's going on, Maya?" His voice was steady, but there was a tremor of pain in his words. I tried to deflect, to lie, but the truth was out in the open, looming over us like a shadow. And in that moment, I realized the magnitude of what I had done. I had shattered his trust, his love, the very foundation of our life together. I confessed everything, each word breaking me a little more as I saw the devastation in his eyes. Ryan didn't say a word. He just looked at me, his face a mixture of hurt, betrayal, and disbelief. He left that night, unable to bear the weight of my confession, and I was left alone in the emptiness of our home, haunted by the choices that had brought me to this moment. Since that night, my life has been a journey of facing the consequences of my actions. Ryan eventually returned, but things were never the same. Our relationship, once grounded in trust, now felt fragile, like a glass that had shattered and been pieced back together. I am left to pick up the fragments of what we once had, to rebuild a life that will forever be marked by my betrayal. I share this story not for sympathy or forgiveness, but as a caution to anyone listening. Temptation can be powerful, and the thrill of the forbidden can make you forget who you are, what you stand for, and what you have to lose. I have learned that a single moment of weakness can ripple through your life, leaving scars that may never fully heal. I hope my story serves as a reminder to cherish what you have, to resist the lure of fleeting desire, and to hold on to the love and trust that truly matters.